Yo. Let me add everybody. What's good? What's good?
What's up?
Yo. Oh, it's in here. You're still clocked in. Maybe I'll do another session later on. We'll see. But I'll record it all. We'll see if the last person joins or not. 80 joins or not. Give him 5 minutes.
You have the fries no sauce, the 2 chicken wraps, and the medium amount sweet tea. All right.
Hey, give me a McDonald's, bro. Hey, give me 2 triple cheeseburgers, 1 mac sauce, bro. Y'all both at work or you at home, Chase?
I'm at home.
Alright, there he is. Perfect, perfect. Let's get this started. Alright. So let me show you guys the rundown. So here's the types of fibs we're gonna be drawing, and here's our RR that we're looking for on average. 1 to 4. All right, 1 to 4. Always 50 ticks. Stop loss, and 200 points is what we're looking for, or 200 ticks is what we're looking for. Oh shit. Alright. So this is our goal. This is our risk management system. Let me go ahead and draw this out as well. So here's our system. At 1 to 1 RR, depending on count closure, you go break even. At 1 to 3 RR, you move to break even. At 4 RR, you should be out of the trade unless you're looking for buy side or sell side to be taken. Right? Now, I do the system with 1 mini. Right now I'm at 10k. But I always risk 50 ticks, which is $250 to make 1,000. So you could lose 4 trades before you break even if you make 1 trade. And you win. Right? That's your risk management system. Now you could do this with micros as well, just 10 micros or 5 micros, however you want to do it. And you could do it with 20 micros, take partials, do whatever you want. But I use minis to make it more simple. Now, these are the 3 fibs that I use, that I do. There should be... Here, I'll post the fib settings in chat. And, I'll put it in education chat real quick.
How do fibs even? What are fibs?
So fibs are short for Fibonacci's. They show you OTE ranges, or like spots where you could entry, spots where levels are. I'll go more in detail in a second. Let me find the fib setting. Here we go. It's in education notes. Those are the settings I use. And then just make sure when you're in the setting, you just you click reverse, I believe, and then you should have the same fib I do. I just changed the colors on mine. All right. So now that we're all looking, I could probably send you guys a screenshot of this as well, but basically, so the first fib is just a opening gap, right? So we have this opening gap, like market usually makes whenever it's a new week, or as we saw like last Thursday to Friday, that opening. This is what I used. So it's from the wick to the wick of the candle. So I'll show you that in a second. The second one is just a whole range. It would be from wick to wick again. Your entry zone will be on the pullback. Always 0.618, right? The next one is when you get a sweep of the high and a sweep of the low. Entry is on the pullback to go for longs or shorts. Now this works for buys or sells, you know, but always entries is 0.618. And always stop loss 50 ticks, looking for 4 RR unless you're looking for buy side to be taken. So like we'll go over it. All right, so we'll go over today and how I took trades, or how I would have taken trades if my trading view wasn't down. So I have a lot of highlighted points, but actually we'll start on Monday. We'll do the 3 days that we of this week. So here's Monday, right? So here's our first market opening gap. Let's mark that out from wick to wick. If there's no wick, just body to body. So here's our first fib. Right, entry zone right here. So we just mark this out. Boom. Here we go. Here's our OTE range. And we just keep this in mind. So going into this week, I was looking for a bullish movement, right? Because we also had this opening gap that was created on Thursday/Friday, around this time, as you guys know. And we already had our push up from last week. So our draw is this imbalance gap. So that's why Monday I was aiming for that gap. Right? So let's go back in. Let's zoom back in. So we have this imbalance gap that was created on Thursday. So that's what I'm aiming for. That's bullish for today until we fill this gap, which would be basically 75% of the gap, which it filled. Now, taking trades to get to it. You could have taken your fib from this range right here to here, and you could have gotten longs here, right?
Oh
wow. Longs here with 50 points, or 56 I mean, and aiming for 200, and boom, there's your win right there. Or you could have took it to the gap, right? And we'll just do, say, mid-range of the gap, and you could have got that win. Now, if you didn't catch that win, send a screenshot later. Yeah, I'll send the screenshots. So if you didn't get this win, you could have gotten this opening gap, which I did signal, I'm pretty sure. But you just take the opening gap, boom, and we top ticked it. Top ticked our entry right here for shorts. Boom. 50 points, or 50 ticks I mean. Oh shit. 50 ticks. And for 200 points, or what I was saying was we have a New York reversal. So we aim for Asia lows, and boom, that's your whole trade right there. Now you see how these fibs work? Now if you didn't get at this top and you were waiting for confirmation, you could have gotten off of this fib right here, off of this wick. This is also another entry I took because I got stopped out after it went back up, so I re-entered right here and for shorts. Guys got that? That's how you can use fibs for your entry. And basically that's the whole model. So that's one type. This is the other type. Now we have the sweep of a high and a sweep of a low. So we could say, let's get rid of this one. And also never trade before 7:30, right? You never want to trade that time because there's anything could happen here. Trade after 7:30 if you are gonna trade. Yeah, for Asia. That would be AM. AM. That's the time frame I've looked at. Time frame that works for me. So, up to you guys if you want to use it. But yeah, and then we can also use the fib to find levels where price will struggle or where price will top out. So to find the level, you would find your lowest before New York, right? Here's our lowest point before New York. So we take from the wick to the high, and then we can see our levels, right? Body closed at 3.5, stuck between usually this zone right here is where market tends to like struggle. And this is not always 100%, but for most of the time this will give you levels where market will top out or struggle at. 7 a.m. is New York for me. Yeah, for me it would be 6:30 is New York for me. But yeah, so you could have got a trade here. You could have got this range on the fib. Take this low to this high. Right there. Got another entry right here to the wick. Right. And you could have rode it for 200 points. Or if you know where you're going, to the imbalance, middle of the imbalance. Boom. Another win. Right? These trades happen everywhere. Okay. I never trade. Let me see. Where's this brush at? This is sauce? Yeah. So I'm telling you right now, never trade lunch or PM. If New York AM takes out both Asia and London lows, it's not even worth it because usually this shit consolidates. Right? What's good, Mitchie? I'll send you the video after. But yeah, I'll show you real quick the fibs. So here's the 3 types of fibs I found. One is market opening gap. Second is range imbalance. So this would be our imbalance right here, right? Range imbalance, and then a break of the high and a break of a low, a sweep of high and low, and then a pullback. These are our 3 models, you could say. And we're always going for 1 to 4 RR, but if you're greedy, go for buy side or sell side liquidity. Now, New York, I posted a image in education notes. I'll pull it up right now. Where's that? Okay, so here. These are the type of New York things that happen. We have the continuation, which happened today, right? Right here, New York continuation. This one, continuation. Oh, we have consolidation, which happened, I believe, last week somewhere. But last week it consolidated. We get the reversal, which you can make a lot of bank on, which is this one. What was that message? AMD worked there? What do you mean, AMD? I don't use AMD. The only thing I use is fibs. I don't even use fair value gaps. I don't use relative highs. I only use the fib. Think of this as, I mean, you could use your confluences from ICT or ICC, whatever you want to use. But for me, I just got rid of all of that and focused on your bias. Let me get a pencil.
How do you mark those like boxes and stuff?
Boxes as in
Like the blue box and the green box. Like,
this one? Or which one?
yeah. For the sessions.
Oh, for the sessions, that's just the indicator. ICT kill zones right here. So get this. This will help you a lot. If any indicator you need, just get this one at least.
Do the default settings work good?
Yeah, default settings, but enable true day open.
Okay.
Yeah, so when I'm teaching you this, just keep everything out, like fair value gaps and everything. Just keep that out of your mind for now. And then you can use it later as confluence to find your bias or whatever. But whenever you're doing fibs, you want to know about manipulation. Manipulation, right? manipulation, bias, right? And time. I forgot if there was one more. But for now, those three until I remember what else I was thinking. Right. So time, as in New York volatility, news induced volatility or manipulation, just like time as in, like, if you look at the chart every 30 minutes, sometimes there's always a reversal, or like sometimes there's always some type of dip back down to get to rebalance and go up back up. 30 minutes right here, it starts dipping down. 30 minutes, it starts movement. Like every 30 minutes, just keep an eye on your chart, or like know that something might happen at 30 minutes at least. That's what I mean by time. Now, to find your bias, you want to look for where there is a range.
Wait, my fault. Quick question on the time. You say like 30 minutes before market opens?
30 minutes as in every 30 minutes.
Or...
Yeah, every 30 minutes something happens. But usually it's within a session, every 30 minutes. That's where you really want to keep an eye on. Pre-market, usually it continues where it wants to go, and then it will reverse when market opens. But that's besides the point. Okay, so when you're looking for your bias, right? Your daily bias or your weekly bias, look for range imbalance. Look for a buy side and sell side liquidity. And to go off range imbalance, look for market gaps, basically. Like I said earlier, Monday, we were already pushing up last Friday, so our draw, or our closest time draw, basically would be this gap. So that's why I was bullish for Monday. And then for Tuesday, I was bullish until we filled this gap, right? Oh, by the way, looking at our first model / fib right here, market opening, gap to gap, or wick to wick, right? We have our fib already drawn out because I showed you guys earlier. Our entry, always 0.618. We go over here. This is Tuesday, and this is what I called out on that Tuesday, this entry for longs. And where do you aim? Top of sessions, if you're expecting a reversal, and I was. So there you go. Eli typing, so I'm gonna give him a second. Oh, stop typing, never mind. Now, you could be greedy. If you're on micros, you could partial at these highs and aim for buy side liquidity. So we had buy side right here, and I'm guessing we had buy side higher than that, but I didn't mark those out. So yeah. But after this reversal, after it takes the highs, you could have got in again using the fib, right? This one is a little finicky. I'm not exactly sure. But first we take the low to the high, right? We get our first fib. This one doesn't work, as you see. Right, we get stopped out. So in this case, you would wait because you see this huge push down. This was pretty volatile. If it's volatile, you don't have your limit set. So what I did, we have this fib made, and then we have another fib right here. Let me clean this up. Right, so we had our first fib, right? Let me mark out our range. So we have this fib. The reason I marked it from this candle low to this candle high is because this candle is where it breaks this high and it takes it basically, right? So that's our first candle or our first fib, and then let's get our second fib from the low to this high. Mark our OTE range. And instead of entering from either of these, you could have entered from our midpoint of these ranges. And this would have worked. Now this is all hindsight. Right? This is all hindsight, but something I noticed that you could do. For 200 points. Or you could aim for buy side since we already took the session highs. And buy side would be this high right here. Boom. Right. Just ways to use fib. Or if you were using ICT, you could see there was like an order block here and you could have entered off of it. But that's besides the point. Okay. Now going into today, the reason I told you guys to sell was because I had a fib, right, from this low, this range right here, this low to this high, and here was my OTE range. See the wick, by the way. Boom. And then you could have bought in right here. So I was telling you guys, look for sells. This is what you could have gotten. There's this range right here that you could have shorted from. But like I said, you wait after 7:30. Wait for that range to get hit after 7:30. And here's your short. This one you don't take for 200 points because you see that you have an OTE range. So you would go to whatever that is. Boom. That's your win. And then you could have went in longs here. Literally ping-ponging in the market. And if we go for 200 points, right? 200 points. This hits eventually. Right here. Before New York Open. Now, what I said in Discord, I was looking for New York continuations. Because after New York Open, it took Asia high and London low, technically. Not really, but let me get rid of this because you can't really see anything. But it technically took London low. So you would look for longs here. And you could probably get an entry off here if you were late from this low of this wick to this body candle, and your entry would be here for longs. And then for this one, you would look for buy side to be taken. Buy side, which was whatever buy side was, right? 6RR. Okay. Now, like I said earlier, before New York opens, you want to find your lowest low or your lowest range. So it would be from this low to this high, right? Just so you can find your levels where market might struggle, right? And we top out at around -4. You guys typing for a second, so I was waiting. But yeah, whenever you're looking looking for your bias, right? Always mark your imbalances, your range imbalances, or like so you got your market imbalance, which was with the gaps, market opening gaps, or then you have range imbalances, which I just showed you. Another example. I'll show you again. So technically, right here, this would be like a range imbalance. Right here. So you want to see market come back into here before making a push up. Some type of like that type of range imbalance. Or like this range imbalance. You could have got an entry off these. So we have this high right here to this low. Here's our OTE range. So you want to see market come tap here. And it does. And you would short here. And where are you aiming? You have a imbalance down here. So if we mark our fib from this low to this high, we could take it to our OTE range down here. I'm pretty sure I took this one as well. I bounced, or yeah, I took this one. And then you could have gotten longs here. For 200 points. Right? Now, if you are aiming for more, or not 200 points, 200 ticks, you guys know what I mean. If you are aiming for more than like that, it's very risky during London and Asia, because most of the times it will dip lower into a different imbalance that we have. Right? That's why you want to look for more RR whenever it's New York, if you want to. Now, if you want to be profitable, I know I'm not profitable yet, but if you want to be profitable, just aim for 200 ticks every time. 1K a day, right? Don't be too greedy until you make enough capital. So any questions? I know that was a lot of shit. Not looking at any gaps or fair value gaps or anything, just strictly fib.
The fib, I think I kind of misplace where to use it sometimes. Like, I don't know what type of movement I'm looking for.
Okay, yeah. Fair enough. So there's New York manipulation fib that you can use, right? I don't think we had any this week. Let me see if we had any last week that I could show you. Continuation. Okay. Good work. So we have, this is our manipulation, right? Because we push higher, and we take, this manipulation took buy side, I'm pretty sure, where it tried to take buy side. Yeah, try to take buy side. Failed at it, pulled back. So you would mark your manipulation fib here, and then your buy side, or your other fib would be like over on this side, where it breaks structure, or it breaks the high. So it would be on that candle. Entry would be here. Now on ES, it's I think it's more cleaner, but I don't trade ES, so it's kind of kind of like something unknown for me. But ES, I believe, is cleaner to use the fib on.
I think I'll start. This is MNQ, right?
Yeah, this is. I use NQ. I use minis. I trade minis.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll start looking at MNQ. Give it a try.
Yeah. Especially, I know that people say that January is gonna be a pretty bad PA, but December I've been hitting like everything. Even this week, I've hit like almost all my trades. So. But yeah. Here's the system. The 3 types of fibs, right? I'll screenshot this and send it in Discord. Always aiming for 1 to 4 RR if you're not trading. So here's the exceptions, right? If you're expecting a New York continuation, a New York reversal, or actually, yeah, that's really it. These are the 2 exceptions where you can aim for more RR, because off New York continuations, it aims for buy side or sell side. And since your entry is literally at the bottom or top of it, you could go towards it. Or New York reversals, you aim for session. Oh shit. Session highs / lows. Or midnight open. Right? I'll show you with this one, right? So you could have aimed for true day open, because sometimes it likes bouncing off. You guys should know that midnight open, sometimes price bounces off and uses it as a rejection point. So this is a good part, or like point to partial. If not, always session highs, right? Both of those got taken. Let me get rid of everything actually. Oh shit, no, not yet. I'll go into a different one. Okay. Like this one, session lows got taken by New York. But like I say, never trade this. It's not worth it, right? The one time I traded it, which was, I think it was Friday, and I did get a win, but this one, it was this long. But besides that, it's not worth it. I was given insider information that usually, I'd say 80%, New York lunch and New York PM doesn't go above or below New York AM highs or lows. Like 80%. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, this is off continuation, so of course it's gonna keep on going up. This is off continuation, so of course lunch and if we did have a PM, it would continue up. Like here, consolidation. Don't want to be trading this whole thing unless you're top or bottom ticking and scalping it. We have continuations, that's why it's below. This is consolidation, so it's not even worth looking at. But yeah, majority of the time, New York lunch and New York PM doesn't really give you that much movement.
Gotcha.
That's why when I see guys trading, is like asking for signals, like, what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing?
We're doing what we know best: gambling.
You gotta gamble on market open. That's where you win. Right. Okay. So now back to risk management. I know you said you struggled with it. This should help you like a lot because it gives you a system.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm not sure.
yeah, it gives you a system. It gives you a model. It gives you points of entries, and it stops you from trading New York lunch and shit.
Knowing me, I'd lose 4 fucking times.
You lose 4 times. I mean, there is a chance, but it's a slim chance. All right, if you if you get your fibs right, there's like I'd say a 70% chance you would win, right? So just make sure. Um, I don't like back testing. I like implementing immediately. That's how I've always been, even in my early stages. I never back tested. Where's that message at? If fibs almost seem too easy, it's because I'm making it easy for you guys.
Not that ass. You do make it look easy.
Yeah. I'm just making it easy for you guys, right? It's just things I've noticed over the span of, I say, a few weeks after learning it. So there might be some kinks I'm missing, but for the most part, I've made 10K using fibs. So I think I'm all right. I'll tweak out the kinks whenever I tweak them out, but
You need a Hoon indicator.
somebody know how to code, then get to it.
That's just gonna be like, buy now.
Already pre-ordered my new G-Wagon. Yeah, so just make sure whenever. So basically, here's your winning system, right? Always enter off 0.618. Here's your types of fibs you draw. Option 1, option 2, option 3. I'll send a screenshot. Here's your RR. And then here's your exceptions.
Okay. And then you're gonna post a video of this, right?
Yeah. I have this all recorded.
Okay. Probably have to rewatch it like 600 times.
All good. As long as you get it down. If you don't, then you can always ask questions. I'll always be here. But yeah. Just know that there are a lot of fibs that will fuck you up and mess you up. So you gotta get them right. If you don't, sometimes it'll be like a tick that you get fucked up on. I don't have any examples, but for the most part, don't get too greedy. If you have a OTE range that gets hit like this, like here, it hit this, and I thought I was gonna go to. I had another OTE range down here, right around here. I thought I was gonna dip lower. See this one? Obviously didn't, and I only got like 250 because it went back to my 1 to 3 RR or whatever I had. But if I knew this from, or if I wasn't greedy, and I just got out here and bought, I would have been up like probably 3K today or something. But yeah, all in all, I just gotta say, don't be too greedy. Just take the RR. Follow the system to a T for the most part, right? Follow the system until you start making money, right? Then you could probably have some leniency.
Yeah.
Probably leverage more if you want. But until you get your first payout, until you build a big buffer, just use 10 micros or 5 micros like I've been using. I've been using 1 micro. Or mini, 1 mini. I mean, 10 micros. Yeah. Any more questions? Any more questions?
Nope. I think that's it.
Yeah, and none of this includes standard deviations, freaking SMTs, not even looking at any other charts.
Yeah, just straight for them.
Just straight on one chart. if you have the right narrative for the day or the week, right narrative / bias, you'll make bank. You'll start winning a lot. Because it all comes down to if you have the right narrative or bias, right? And to get those, you need to find your market, your range imbalances, your buy / sell liquidity zones, and that's how you find your
Can you
bias.
mark the range imbalances again?
So range imbalance, it would be, let me see. So like this technically would be a range imbalance, right? I used the fib, but you do low to the high, and then basically this area right here would be your imbalance, and where market will eventually tap into this area. Since this is a huge fib zone that we marked, we don't want to enter off of 0.618 because it's a huge zone and too many imperfect or like not precise, so you wouldn't enter off that 0.618. You would go in closer. Once it does tap it, you would wait for a sweep of a high and low or something, and then you would enter off of a smaller fib zone. Or another, or market imbalance is just gaps basically. You guys know it as fair value gaps. I know as fair value gaps. Everybody knows it as fair value gaps, but I just call it just an imbalance, a range imbalance, or a market imbalance gap. Yeah, it's like right here. I showed you earlier. Here's our range imbalance right here, right? So you mark the fib, low to the high, and you get your OTE, or your draw on liquidity, which would be basically the imbalance. Basically, you can use these fibs as where market is gonna go, and you can predict kind of where it's gonna go. So like, market opens, right? You want to wait for it to tap either the top OTE zone of this range imbalance, or the bottom OTE zone of this range imbalance. What does it do? It taps the top, you short to the next one, and then you long. But yeah. And then right here, I'm pretty sure there's another entry for shorts, so you could literally ping pong. So if we look for a sweep of a high and a low, so we have this sweep right here, and we have this sweep right here. So we mark our fib, the high to the low, entry zone right here. So you would get out of your longs and go short. 50 ticks and for 200 points, right? Or we have another OTE range imbalance. You could be greedy, go for this OTE zone, and boom, that hits. Y'all got it. And then this, sometimes you would your drawdown will be more than others, is because it's not precise. So if we go closer into this OTE, right? Instead of taking it from this low to this high, we could take it from this low to this high, because it breaks this, and this is our, say you like cut this in half, right? You could say that this is our manipulation to take sell side, or fill this gap and take sell side right here. So you could say this is our manipulation. So you cut it in half. So our low from here to here, and this is your new OTE zone right here, if you want to get precise with it and have a less drawdown and more chances of cashing out. So you would move this down, and there you go. Right. Any other questions? If not, I'll
For the
stop this recording.
ICT kill zones, what did you say we have to turn on?
True day open, just all the way at the bottom right here. Bill, when did you join? I didn't realize. Because you missed out on a lot of information, but I'll show you the model basically. But I have the video recorded too, so I'll send that whenever I upload it. But yeah, just keep these in mind as well, because these help a lot with how you look at how market moves. But once you guys understand your narrative and bias, and you implement this, or even just implementing it into ICT or whatever strategy you have, narrative and bias is really what helps you figure out where markets can go, obviously. But yeah, let me see. Let me go to a new one real quick. And
Alright,
like I said, before New York, New York.
Bro.
Was that?
I said, thanks for the explanation.
Wait.
Alright.
Oh yeah, but again, before New York open, always find your lowest range, and if you think we're gonna go higher, then you mark it upwards, right? So we have this low to this high, and then it just gives you your levels of where market might top out at. Before New York, our lowest to our high, right here, gives you where market will top out at. Right here, right? Just gives you levels so you could base your trading off of. Obviously, they're not 100%, but you can use it as some type of confluence. Right? So we have this one. If we already took buy side and we just keep going up, then you would mark it downwards. But we'll go over that. Let me see. This one was just bullish until New York. But just looking at it, basically reversal. But stop trading lunch. Past lunch is not it, bruh. Let me stop the recording so it doesn't get too